I'm going to go now and take a slightly different tact because I want to create an arm piece. I'm going to make that a poly mesh. So I select Sphere 3D, made it a poly mesh. I really want to get rid of this pole. May or may not cause problems, but I'm going to hold off. Symmetry is on. I'm going to create some kind of crazy arm piece. Okay. Okay. Does that make sense? From this view, it doesn't look very good. I'm going to come in with clay buildup. See if I can start to flatten that, and if that makes sense. If not, I'm going to revert to a different plan. Yes, okay. Okay, very loose, very rough. And what would be one of the things I need to do at this point? I need to get this edge to be a little sharper because I used clay buildup, so it's a real crappy edge. It's not a pretty edge at all. So what I want to show you now, and this is a really important little trick, is I want to look at how we can kind of make this a better edge and start to, say, create our own polygrouped edge as well as a separately polygrouped section here. So this is a polygrouped. We're going to polygroup the edge. We're going to polygroup the interior. The way you do it, you select the main body. I'm going to go into visibility, grow that selection. Okay, something like that I think is going to be fine. It is messy, but my polish by feature is really quite solid. My polish by feature takes care of a lot of that. Okay, now once we've done this, then we can just hide this guy and say polygroup group visible, and then we can select this, and group visible there. So now we have 1, 2, 3. And if you want, you can just click group visible a couple of times so that simplifies out. And let's go polish by feature. See how nicely that straightened out? See how crazy nice that straightened out? I mean, that's amazing. And now I have this whole centerpiece, and I can just move that in. If you wanted an even tighter line, you would go to Move, drag up, okay, Control, drag down. And what does that do? Should edge loop. Just keep Control, click, and dragging down. And now you have some really nice topology all the way around these guys. The problem with this is that as soon as you polish, as soon as you go in and polish by feature, you lose that edge. So I haven't asked you a question in a bit, but why did we lose that edge that we wanted? Who can tell me why we lost that edge? Remember, we were here, and then we lost that edge. We worked hard to get that edging in there. But now we lost that crisp, clean, solid edge. The reason is because of the polygroup. So part of this trick is remembering where your polygroups are. A boring thing to remember, but important nonetheless. So how am I going to get this polygroup and grow it upwards right to that edge? Who can tell me which feature I'm going to use to grow that polygroup upwards? I'm going to use visibility. Oh, I'm not seeing these questions. Great. Okay, visibility and grow. Right, so we go in here, Control-Shift-Click. We go to visibility, grow, 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 grow. Okay, this is a little wonky, but we don't want that. We're just going to come down. Then you're going to have to Control-Shift-Click and drag, and then Control-Shift-Click and drag, press Alt, let go, Control-Shift-Click and drag, and then since you also went on the outside, you may want to turn double on and get rid of that. And then polygroup it. Now you've got your edge back. And again, it loves this color. Looks like we've got a couple of strays here too. So I'm going to just look at this guy and okay. All right, now my trick here is that I'm just going to polygroup this edge differently. That way it just makes it easier for me to select these two and then I group them. And then I can come back, polish by feature. All right. We get a nice edge. We have some work we can do there. And I'm liking that. Now, do I want to put a hole through the center of this guy? Wouldn't that be cool? So we're going to go and, use these tools. I'm basically using the same tools over and over again. And really hoping that they just make a dent. Okay, now this is in the way a little bit. So one trick, just move it out of the way. You can always move it back. And then I'll go from this angle. I'm going to make these guys all part of one group. How do I do that? I need to separate that piece out. So I'll make it its own group. And then I'll add it back in to this group. Oof. So much work. Okay, select those guys. Let's try this. I'm not confident this will work, but we're going to go Geometry, Delete Hidden, and then we're going to go back to Curve Bridge. Drag out, press Shift. Drag out, press Shift. Delete that curve. And there we go. We've now cut through. We can put some interior wiring in there things like that. Oh, you know what? Let's back this up. Okay, I'm going to back all the way because one of you, Steve, had a really good thing that I should be showing you. A really good question. So I'm backing up. Remember when I was trying to get this guy out of the way? Okay. Yes, I'm going to undo all of those. So what I want to do is basically hide these guys so they're not in my way, and trim this area. What's cool is that it all, even with these guys partially hidden, trim is going to work. So thanks, Steve, for pointing that out. And that's new with the latest version. That was not in there before. So now we're going to go through the same thing, delete hidden, curve bridge, select, press shift, select, press shift, and let the program do its thing. We can soften some of that if we want, but otherwise we've got our hole and we still have this piece kind of hanging over the top. All right. So thank you guys for answering those questions, kind of getting back and let us get figuring all that